Everybody knows exactly what they should be doing, and yet they don't do it. They have the over optimized perfect plan or strategy, and yet they don't do anything. That is the real problem. It is not the problem that we have worse and worse plans, or we have bad strategies, or we don't know what we should be doing. We know exactly what we should be doing, but don't do it. That is the problem of the modern world. And it is because we think of ourselves as machines. We think that we should optimize absolutely everything. But we over engineer and over optimize our actions. So much so that we convince ourselves that it's not going to work because we cannot solve this problem, as opposed to making the simplest plan in existence and start doing as soon as possible and focusing on optimizing as the last step. It is the last step in the process. Further down the line, in the future, very far in the future, you should optimize. Start with the simplest plan, and this is key. Accept a bigger failure rate, because we are not machines. Machines cannot learn from their mistakes, but we can. And you might say, oh, it's just about learning about mistakes. It's about making more mistakes so that we learn. No. I'm actually saying that even if you optimize, at the end, optimize for better outcomes, and you strategize perfectly, after you've done all these things, you always have to keep a constant or a bigger failure rate. Because you see, after you've optimized everything, you then complicate the process. That's what optimization is, of course, if you're doing it wrong. The best way is to think, what else can I take away? What else would simplify my process? But everyone has plans of 3 to 20 steps, and that is the problem. Everything above 2 or 3 steps as a plan is so bad. It's so over-engineered. If you have 20 plans, 20 steps to your plan, you're over-engineering. You're doing so much thinking. And that is the problem. Instead of understanding that the only way to have the best plan is by doing, the only way to find a more optimized solution is by doing things. You cannot optimize things by thinking. Optimizing things from thinking gets you the best logical solution. But the best solutions are often not logical. The best things that you can come up with pale in comparison to the plans that someone came up with by taking action and seeing what things happen. Because some of the things that you do might seem illogical, but they arise from so much action that people will look at it and they will not really understand. And they will never understand why you are doing what you are doing. Because they think about things. They try to understand what you are doing. They try to strategize, but they never have the concepts that you have. They never understand what you are doing because they're trying to really use their brain to understand it, as opposed to proof, as opposed to real experience. So you see, simplify your plans, apply and accept a bigger failure rate. Because once you go from 1% failure rate to 2%, you're basically doubling your output. Not only are you doubling your output, but you're doing something else. You're getting better so much faster because you've simplified the process so you can do more repetitions by accepting a bigger failure rate. That's what you should do, as opposed to thinking more, as opposed to planning more. Understand that the dumber the plan is, the easier it is to do. The smarter the plan is, the more over-optimized, over-engineered it is, the more time it will take. If you want to get somewhere fast, try to make the simplest plan, start moving, and then adapt the plan midway. By the time you end up where you want it to be, you will have a better plan than the person who stayed 5, 6, 7 days planning ahead. Do 5 minutes, 10 minutes of planning, and then do 10 times, 20 times that in action. And then change a little bit of things by trying to see what else I can take away. What can I take away? What can I take away? Ask yourself this question all the time, as opposed to what can I add? What can I add? What can I add to complicate this process? Everyone complicates processes. They add more steps, thinking that that will improve the quality. But more often than not, what improves the quality tremendously is the number of repetitions. Getting so good at those 2 to 3 step plans that you become great. And once you master 2 to 3 step plans, you can go to 4, but then cut out again one of them that's proving. But try to add 1 step at a time and see if it works. If it doesn't work, cut it away. Try to add another one. Don't add 5 steps. Don't add 20 more steps once you see that this thing works. Don't mess with the things that work. Don't really mess with them by adding more steps, by adding complexity. Complexity doesn't actually lead to better results all the time. It actually, most of the time, leads to worse results. Because you do not understand that most of the things that are great, amazing plans are illogical. They do not make sense. They have no explanation. And you will have to really live with that idea to really understand that if you want great systems and great plans, great strategies, you will probably not understand why they work. You will probably not understand all of these things. You will not be able to explain these things until you've done it thousands of times, and then the pattern emerges. You start to understand why it works. But you don't have to understand in the moment. If it works, continue doing it, even if you don't understand it. But that's so much in the future. If you start at just optimizing everything, you're never going to end up there. You're never going to end up with a plan that works and you don't know why it works. That's so much better of a position to be than to have a plan that's logical but doesn't work, or a plan that's logical and it works, but yeah, it is just something that doesn't produce as many results. Because you see, whenever you abandon the logic, the understanding, everything that you have, you actually start to learn. Everything that you think you know holds you from learning new stuff, from understanding, from having proof, from making plans, from doing things, especially this last one. Everything that you think you know and you think you understand holds you back from action. Action comes from nothing. You have to clear your mind completely. You don't have to. You can have all of these things in your mind, but ignore them completely and start doing things. Ignore that perfectionism. Ignore that idea of optimizing everything. Because optimization doesn't have to be there. Most people don't go to the gym not because it's hard to go to the gym. It's because they always try their best. They always try to optimize their workout every single time, as opposed to having a workout, enjoying it, going home, not thinking about it at all, knowing that every time they go, they're just going to be healthier. They're just going to be better. Because if they over-engineer and over-optimize, it's going to be a drag. They're always going to have to do the perfect movement, the perfect thing. And also, they're over-exerting themselves every single time. I see this so much in the gym. Everyone goes there and really struggles the most, goes there to put in the biggest muscle, to do all of these things, when they don't understand that doing that will actually hinder them in the future so much, because they're not really enjoying going to the gym. They're not really understanding that the best thing that they can do is go make sure that they go in the future as well. And to do that, you have to simplify the plan, you have to make it fun, you have to really not over engineer every single movement and not give it your all. I know it sounds preposterous, but that means whenever you have the perfect plan, you're going to go full tilt on it. You're going to go with the most amount of strength, with the most amount of speed, or whatever it is, as opposed to doing the simplest plan and really not really knowing, trying to see if it works, doing as many repetitions of that plan because it's simple, because it's easy. And then you're going to have this compounding effect of your actions. That's the point. When you have simple plans, compounding comes so much faster because you can move so fast as opposed to other people. You basically start with with the bigger investment, and the rate of compounding just adds up over and over and over again. And you blow past everyone else just because you accept a bigger failure rate.